Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I am going to be doing an account update. Now, we've got some sad, but also good news. The good news, actually, I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is the Wackening has been kind of eradicated, or disbanded, but that also comes with some good news. We now have access to General Kenobi shards, so we will be able to get a full Padme team a lot sooner. This is pretty awesome, but it's also sad because of the Wackening. So, yeah, but we're not going to be doing a whole lot in today's video. We're just going to be doing the dailies, telling you, just updating you on how the account's going, as well as we are going to be doing the Tusken Warrior event thing. So, yeah. I also unlocked ships a couple days ago, so that's pretty awesome. I've been trying to get, top 100, but it's a bit difficult since I was a little bit late into getting to level 60 because I had a main focus and I was spending crystals on upgrading characters rather than just energy refreshes, which would have boosted my XP gain. So I got a little bit slower, but as you can see now, I'm trying to catch up by building up the Geonosian fleet. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So yeah, we've got some good progress, and we have 15 General Kenobi shards right now. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Good progress. And if you hadn't seen the video already, we do have a 6-star Grandmaster Yoda, which is really awesome. Also, when I hit level 65, which will probably be in the upcoming week or so, I will have my first Gear 8, which will be JKA or Anakin. So that's pretty awesome. Now, I think for this Squad Arena battle, I'm not sure we're going to play the whole thing through since we're not really doing super great right now. We've pretty much lost Old Ben at this point. We've almost lost Anakin. So I might forfeit if it's not going super great. But yeah, so far we've got some pretty big news for the account, and I'm really happy with the progress. But what do you guys think on this proposal? I stopped farming Poggle and maybe side farm the last 20 shards for Magma Trooper and just go full in on the Geo fleet, or I go ahead and finish up those, at least unlock Poggle to 4 stars, and then finish up Magma Trooper before going to the fleet. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. Either the fleet or finish up Magma Trooper, because I feel like while Poggle is great, he's not super amazing without Geo Brood Alpha. And the reason I unlocked the other 3 is because of they have ships. So that's why I chose to unlock them. They also don't interfere with a lot of my other farms. So yeah, that's part of why I chose to unlock them. So make sure you let me know in the comments. And if I don't see any responses, I will probably just put up a poll. So if you don't feel like writing out a comment, maybe just pop in sometime next week when I post up the poll. So yeah. That's what I'm leaning personally towards finishing up the ships and just starting up the ships because I feel like they would be a lot better for the account to just focus on them instead of on finishing up Magma Trooper. Just because while I'm super close to Magma Trooper, I think any day that I don't spend on the ships is a day behind that I become, so I'll basically become farther behind, I feel, with the progress on the fleet. But, because I think I'm in a better guild now, I'll be able to, just catch up a little bit because I'll have access to Malevolence, because that's what you guys said. 7 out of 7 people, 4 of you said that you wanted me to go for Malevolence. So that's what I'm gonna do. And while I feel like the Galactic Republic fleet is a little bit better, I feel like Malevolence would have a better, like 5-star viability. So that's why I'm kind of leaning there. So, and that's also what you guys said, so, you know, that's what we're gonna do. Now, if you guys have any thoughts or, like, reasons for me not to go that way, you should let me know. And if your argument is good enough, then I might switch. But besides that, fleet is, you know, it's a grind like usual. But I feel like because I have 2 out of the 3 Geo fleets, or Geo ships, I've been doing pretty well. I usually get, like, top 200, so I get a pretty good chunk of fleet currency to spend towards Sunfac, building him up, as well as, like, just building up other fleet and ships and stuff. So, yeah. I'm still gonna farm up Anakin Starfighter, just because he's got such good viability. He doesn't really need to be with just Galactic Republic. I can also put him with kind of my main fleet, and I think he'll be fine. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm also thinking about, like, maybe building up a secondary fleet of possibly, like, Empire. Like, I know I won't really have great access to, the TIE Defender, which is a really big and important part of the fleet. But I feel like, there's a lot of places that the Imperial fleet can lead. Like, if I just 7-star TIE Fighter and TIE Bomber, I'll be a lot closer to, oh yeah, and TIE Advanced. So all 3 of them are needed for the Executor. So I feel like they all have some sort of, like, value as fleet progression. So I feel like even just building the 3 of them would be a good thing for this account. Let me know your thoughts. I don't have a super great capital ship right now, and I don't want to put too many resources into their drivers because they're just not great drivers for the ships. So, like, and they're just not good characters. They're great drivers, you know? Like, they've got decent capital ships except for Mace Windu. But, like, the resources putting into the drivers does not have as a great outcome in the character arena. So I probably won't put a lot of effort into them. So, let's do the Tusken thing now. So, I've been noticing, like, that the fist thing, I keep forgetting what it's called, but, it feels a lot like Padme's courage, where, like, whenever damage is dealt, at least by the Tusken warrior, as you're about to see it, like, it kind of just dumps the fist thing into damage when the special is used. So, as you can see right there, right? I think it's pretty cool. It's a way to use, like, an old mechanic in a new character, and I think they used it pretty well. And I think the Tuskins are gonna have a lot of viability in the future. I mean, once they're on nodes and double drops, I think everybody's gonna have them. At least Gear 12, probably Gear 13, because they're needed for a raid, and I feel like they're pretty amazing. They're pretty amazing for, like, a team, right? And, like, I don't know if you guys saw Arnold's stream yesterday, but you could see a lot of what the Tuskins can do, and it was pretty impressive. Like, they could beat some pretty big teams like CLS. And, you know, it's a pretty cheap team when you think about it, right? Especially for people who have the both marquee characters unlocked. So, you would even have them at probably, like, Gear 11. So, the rest being Gear 13 or, like, Relict. you'd have a whole bunch of, like, options to take out with them. I mean, the Tusken Warrior isn't going to be great at 3 stars because she's the main damage, so, but the other one, the Tusken Leader, is gonna, he's not gonna be hurt at all, really, by the 3-star because he's a support character. So, like, he doesn't do damage, so the stars aren't really going to affect him that much, so, except his survivability. So, I think that the Tuskins are going to be pretty great for the future, like, new players who just started when, like, the Tuskins came out, or, like, even if just they have one of the marquee characters. I mean, ideally, if they were to have a marquee character, I think that the better one would be the, like, Tusken Leader, just because you can plop another big damage dealer into the team. So, I think that could be, like, it could be good because all the other Tuskins would do a lot of damage, but, like, the 5th could be pretty much anybody. Like, R2-D2, for example, would actually be kind of good because he would stun on his basic if you maxed it out to 80%. So, yeah, I feel like the Tuskins are going to be, like, pretty big in the future, especially with a lot of the big teams being turn meter reliant, and that'll just be great for, like, the new players, because there's not, like I said before, there's not a lot of investment into the team. So, like, obviously, it'll take a little while to 7-star them when they're not double dropped and they're not on nodes, because that'll take, like, at least 6 months for them to be on the node. So, if you can get in, if you got in when they were just, like, came out, like, pretty much just like this account, you're pretty golden. So I think a good way for me to progress this account after I build up my teams, like my base teams, would be to go for this team, right? Because I have the 2 marquee characters, which are going to be the hardest to get for, like, new players and people in my shard. And, like, you know, like, I feel like a lot of newer players don't understand fully how the marquee works. So, like, a lot of them probably just, like, did a couple battles thinking that, it would be fine. I don't know, I'm just saying a bunch of stuff at this point. But, I don't know, I feel like it would just be a really good way to progress this account. Like, build off of a lot of other teams, because they can counter big teams, like I said before, CLS, and Imperial Troopers, and I could just plop them on defense, and a lot of what people are going to be farming because of the core teams won't have a huge effect on them, and they can just tank through. But that's just my thoughts on the Tuskins and the progress. But, like, what are your thoughts on the Tuskins? Like, what do you feel the cons are of the Tuskins and the pros? Because for me, I don't feel like there's a lot of a lot of cons. There's plenty of pros for this team. But there's just not a lot of bad things about the Tuskins. You know, it's awesome that we finally have a full team of Tuskins. It's been, like, forever, or, like, it has been forever since we've had a full team, because we've never had it, except in 3v3. And they were never great in 3v3 until the Omicron. So, yeah. And also, I think it's great that the Scion of Django is going to have a Tusken tag in 3v3. That way you can have 2 full 3v3 teams. Honestly, I feel like that's a good thing that CG did, allowing, like, kind of a crappy character, let's be honest, to have some viability later. And so it gives a reason for people to actually build it. And that way you have 2 full Tusken teams. That's 2 more 3v3 teams. And you know how hard it is to get 3v3 teams. Because you end up pulling from your 5v5 teams. Most of the teams aren't as effective in 3v3. And, you know, I just feel like it builds a little bit. It builds your roster if you have Scion of Django. And if not, you can do some kind of fancy team, like, I don't know, like the leader, the Tusken leader with and like Shaman or something. Probably just normal Tusken instead of Shaman because of the damage of the normal Tusken, but like, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's kind of cool that they're implementing something like that. So you don't have two characters that are just going to waste later. So I'm really glad that they're 3v3 Omicrons. But honestly, it'd be nice if they were 5v5, but I don't really see how the Scion of Django could really be useful in 5v5, because the other five Tuskens have such great synergy together, and I don't think Boba Fett Scion of Django can get momentum. I finally remembered what the fifth thing was. It's momentum. So yeah, I feel like while it's great that it's 3v3 Omicrons, and it would be nice if it was 5v5s, I don't think it would really have a value if it was 5v5 Omicron, or just a full Grand Arena Omicron. So I'm glad they did that, and I don't feel like it really needs to be in 5v5. However, I feel like the other Omicron, with Ur's Omicron, would be really awesome if it was 5v5. But then again, it would make Tuskins, like, literally unbeatable, because that means you'd need an AoE to beat them. Although, I feel like the Revens, they already counter them pretty well. Because they don't get a lot of bonus turn meter, and there's at least 2 multi-attacks on each team. So, I don't feel like they would be greatly affected. So, guys, I feel like that wraps up the video. I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found it enjoyable to listen to my thoughts on the Tuskins and kind of the progress on this account. But, thank you guys so much for watching again. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.